we're back and we're liars because we didn't do one right after the last time we said we were going to. But it's been almost a month since our last one, so we're going on a good track record of once a month, and we'll try to fix that.
So, hello social media, please forgive us, and welcome to our lives.
There we go. So this week, or this month, we are going to share two misconceptions about marriage. One we've each had, and then going to answer a question that someone presented to us. So, Katie, go first on your first
thank
misconception.
you.
You're welcome, ladies first.
Oh, great. Okay, so I think my misconception was that being married would feel a lot different than it did to be engaged. Like, that me and Connor would change, I think. Like, it would feel, I don't know, I feel like life is very similar, a lot more similar to when we were engaged. And I thought it would feel different and be more different. But yeah, the differences are obvious, like we live together and we're married, but I don't know, it doesn't feel as different as I thought it would be. And maybe that's because it's just right, so it just feels normal. But I know my brother told you before that he's like, yeah, it's weird, just wait, after you've been married for like a year, it'll feel like you've been married forever. And it's like, I don't know, it just feels so, it's only been 2 months, but it feels normal. And it doesn't feel different. It just is like, I just feel like we're just like hanging out like we were before. Sometimes I'm still like, oh yeah, we're married. But I don't know, it's not as different as I thought it was gonna be.
So,
I guess.
You had this big thing in your head that you thought it was going to be this drastically different life.
Yeah, like I would that you'd like wake up and it'd be like, oh my gosh, we're married, and like feel so different than life before. But it doesn't really feel different. It just is like pretty much, it's very similar to how it was before.
Plus some really nice pictures from our wedding and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, that was mine. It doesn't feel as different, and I would say that's good, but then also just be careful not to like set yourself up to have this picture of everything that it's going to be like, and then it's not that way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which
everyone does that in some way.
I think everybody does that in some ways, yeah. But I don't know, it's just very much like the same in a lot of ways. But it's much better.
Very.
Much better.
Because now she's way more relaxed because there's no wedding to plan, too.
Yeah.
Right?
It's much better.
And my misconception is I thought the biggest change after we got married would be the physical side for obvious reasons, but the biggest change has been the emotional side, because it's developed and grown and got to a place. Because if we're upset at each other or something, you live with them, so you kind of got to fix it right away or it makes things really bad. And I, for some reason, had this idea or misconception that the physical side would fix those problems or could cover those problems up, I think. And I learned very quickly that's not the case, and that you have to go back to the emotional side, the actual source. And I think if the physical side is used to cover up the emotional side, it would create a lot of problems for us, because we'd get back to those at some point and they've only grown. So I think the biggest thing for me is realizing the value and the need for the emotional side, because it can fix the things that only that side can be fixed with. So I think that was the biggest misconception for me.
Good answer.
Thank you very much. And now to answer the question, each of us are going to answer it. that someone presented to me, and I passed along to Katie, and someone asked me and said, are the things that are hard while you're engaged, because this is from someone who's engaged, are those things, do they get easier or harder when you get married? So, for me, my answer, and I'll go first this time so you have some time to think about that one. Yes and no. You get whole new, not problems, but challenges and things you have to grow through. When you're engaged, some of the problems are you're not together when you want to be together, you don't have that emotional support when you want it, but you're planning, preparing, and building yourself up for that emotional support. But you get a whole new list of challenges and things you get to grow through, and I don't think that ever really stops. And if it does, then I'll be totally wrong. I'm totally fine with that. But I think you get a whole new set of challenges, and those issues you had when you were engaged do go away or get easier because you are together a lot and do have that physical, emotional, spiritual side with that person pretty much 24/7 if you want, where you don't have that while you're engaged. Your turn!
I would say that any issue that you do have when you're engaged or dating is going to carry over to when you're married. The obvious ones, it's like, yes, certain things are easier because you don't have to leave, you don't have to worry about managing your time as much and driving places and how late are you out and stuff like that. Those things obviously aren't there anymore, so that does make things easier in some way, because I think sometimes it's easier to talk through things or whatever it may be because you're just there more often. And I think for a girl it's probably easier because the emotional support is there more often, probably because you aren't driving or having to say goodbye and stuff like that, maybe. But I think that anything that you do have while you're engaged is just going to become more amplified when you're married outside of those things.
So they do get harder?
I think because now it's you are together all the time. So if you have a communication problem when you're engaged, unless you choose to work on that, that's just going to get worse when you're married.
That's true.
If you have if you have difficulties with your families or something like that, it's just gonna, or deciding where to go for Christmas or something simple, that's just gonna get worse when you're married. And if you don't things just don't go away because you're married, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Scratch my answer, take hers.
I think things just those simple things that you said, though, they do go away. They do get easier. Obviously you don't have to worry about how late you're out or
talking to each other.
Yeah, or
do I get to see you enough in that one day?
Yeah, oh, I haven't seen you in this long, or oh, I need more of you of this or that, or whatever it may be. All those things are a lot easier, way easier. But the communication things, or I don't know, money things or whatever it may be, that just a person doesn't change all of a sudden when they get married. So that's just gonna transfer over if you don't work on it now.
That's true.
So,
you're still the same person. That's true.
I don't know that we had
our issues.
I'm trying to think if we had big things like that that we didn't talk through.
I think our issues mostly were we had to drive a lot to see each other, and our schedules didn't intermix perfectly for us, and those kind of things. No one does. But those things go away, or not go away, but get a lot easier.
Which makes the other things easier because those are easier.
Because you have more time and you can spend more time developing and getting that. But you do get a whole new set of challenges when you get married at the same time that honestly you can't plan for, really. You can only learn how to prepare yourself to handle those situations.
I would say just like talk through and work through all those things that you can, because it's just gonna make married life easier. And why wouldn't you want it to be easier?
Yeah. And this is our 2 months of being married advice. So we're no experts, but this is what we've learned so far. Right?
Yep. We're on this
So,
journey.
For everyone, it's December, so Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And hopefully we'll talk to you before you have Happy New Year. Hopefully.
1 week. We hope.
Ta-ta for now.